Yo.
The band is back together.
That's right. Isn't it exciting? I'm Hellhound.
I'm Spellbinder.
And
we changed locations!
That's right. We're in the comic book store that I used to work at briefly.
Work is very subversive.
Yeah.
Slave is more like it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we're back now with another list.
Right?
Woo.
An exciting new backdrop. And we talked about villains before, so...
Twice.
Yeah, so now we're going to do heroes. Well, I wanted to do something Halloween themed since it's now October. And, I'm a Halloween rocker. I'm just, obsessed with that sort of thing. But we couldn't come up with anything, so we're just going to talk about superheroes.
And besides that, it's the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
We'd have to do something for every time, and we're not that good.
Exactly.
Starting off.
And we're in a comic book store, so it's fitting.
Number 10. Morbius.
Good choice.
Now, Michael Morbius started out as a bit character in Spider-Man, but then through a twist of fate, he got turned into a vampire, and due to the comic codes, he had to drink blood, plasma, through his hands. This led to him against Spider-Man, but then teaming up with Blade, and then forming a team with Werewolf by Night and Zombie, and somebody else, I can't remember who. It's a pretty good series. I can't find it anywhere, so it must be really hard to find. Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of more of an anti-hero as well. But yeah, great character. Definitely a good horror character, despite debuting in a Spider-Man comic. Issue 101, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he's awesome. I really liked him in the Spider-Man animated series as well. They kind of overused him a bit, though. He was in a lot of episodes. He was in it more than the Green Goblin.
They turned him into Man-Bat at the end.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, that was one second. Okay, so they turned him into that giant bat.
Yeah.
But then later on, when they did Battle World, he's himself again.
Pretty
How
much.
did that happen?
Yeah, it's weird.
Now, he didn't go to Battle World. Black Cat was pulled from Earth, where her, Blade, and Morbius are fighting against vampires. And we never actually got back to how that ended.
Yeah, who knows? Well, anyway, my number 10, I'm a huge fan of X-Men, as you probably know, but I didn't want to dominate my entire list with too many X-Men characters, so I limited it to 2. I narrowed it down. Really, there'd be a lot more in there, but we're going to go with Cyclops for my 10th favorite superhero. Yeah, he's just a great leader. He's pretty much the X-Man when it comes down to it.
Except for X-Man.
Yeah, well, yeah. But, yeah, Cyclops is awesome. He's a great leader, as I already said.
Personally, I don't like how they've done him in the comics now. Like, he's a bad guy and he killed Professor X. So they go to the past and bring his past self forward, but everybody hates him for what future Cyclops has done. Like, it's his fault, and it's not. And it's...
Well, it's some alternate universe thing, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's the regular universe.
When did this happen?
It's going on right now.
Oh, I disregard everything, like, after the 90s, so... But, yeah, Cyclops was awesome, then, I guess. Scott Summers.
Okay.
Cyclops. I like the way he's done the movies, but we need to see a little more of him. He's supposed to be, the leader of the X-Men, and
he needs to wear blue and yellow.
Yeah, he does, and he's been like in Wolverine's shadow too much. He's kind of reduced to a background prop. In the first movie, he was just kind of there to argue with Wolverine.
And in the second movie, he's just kind of there.
Yeah, and they need to do better with Cyclops. They need to be more respectful of the character because he's awesome.
I hate that though they take the X-Men movies, make it Wolverine and these other guys that follow him around.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And now it's all about Mystique.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence.
They're getting weird now.
Yeah, they're still good, but yeah. Cyclops.
Okay, number 9. Shazam.
Good choice. Shazam. Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Look, it's Captain Marvel. I'm not Captain Marvel. I'm Shazam. Uh-oh. And it's like Billy Batson, like, he's a staple of the Justice League. And, like, if anything, like, he's gone up, but, like, he's never reached, like, the top echelon or, like, the top 3. But he's almost clearly number 4 or 5 in the rankings of the of the Justice League. So, yeah. And the whole dynamic where he's really a kid is never played up enough, like, when he's got more, like, there's not chicks hitting on him, and he's not, like, freaking red-faced, like, running away. But that'd be, like... Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Like, when I was a kid, growing up reading comics, I thought that was so cool. I was like, hey, it's like he's a kid, and then he says Shazam, and he becomes this muscular He-Man. He becomes an adult, essentially. And they're still kind of immature sometimes. At least in kind of the more recent comics, I guess. But I always thought that was pretty cool.
I don't know why they changed his name to what he has to shout.
Yeah, I know. I guess because of they had some kind of legal dispute with Marvel.
That's been going on for years.
Yeah.
Wait, technically,
they have a
DC's Captain Marvel came first, didn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah. Probably before Marvel even came about. Back when it was called Timely Comics, probably.
Yeah.
Alright, anyway, my number 9 is Captain America. And, well, you know, when I was younger, growing up reading comics, I never found him that interesting. I always loved how, like, heroic and how virtuous and honorable he is. Yeah. You know, he's just...
Did you know, every time Steve Rogers has sex, a bald eagle's born?
I believe it.
That's why they're endangered.
Oh. Good one. Yeah, Steve Rogers, a great character. I like the way they've done him in the recent movies, but I think he needs to show his leadership skills a little more. In the Avengers movies, he didn't really seem like the well-respected leader that, you know, that I always perceived to be growing up reading the comics. And in Captain America:
like
Civil War,
he seemed like the punching bag to pop culture jokes that
yeah,
you didn't get.
Pretty much, which kind of worked in the movie's context, but I saw a little more of it in Captain America: Civil War, where, you know, obviously he's fighting Iron Man.
I hated that, like, they made it more about Captain America, not like this big divided thing that was going on.
Yeah, and it was missing several of the key characters that I always liked in that story arc because of, you know, the rights issues or whatever it was. But yeah, Captain America, great guy. He's such a Boy Scout. He's my number 9.
Number 8. Thunderstrike. Now, I'm making hate for this, but I preferred Eric Masterson to Thor himself. He's more grounded, he's more interesting, because he's a regular person given superpowers, albeit unwillingly in the beginning, but he went on to shine through it. And I hated that, like, his whole arc where he dies was really well written, because it's his girlfriend with the, what?
Oh, keep going.
He fights his girlfriend to the death, and read it, it's really good.
I have a lot of Thunderstrike comics. I used to think I had, when I was a kid, I thought I had the first issue, but it was actually like
the first issue
like
of
a newer thing. Yeah, Thunderstrike's pretty good. My number 8 would be Human Torch. I had to pick a member of the Fantastic Four.
Oh, never mind.
Not the original android.
Whatever happened to him, anyways?
Who knows? Like, yeah, Marvel's like, you know, when they started out, I guess when they were timely, you know, they had the original Human Torch, they had Submariner, you know, Captain America. Yeah, not that Human Torch. I'm talking about Johnny Storm, Sue Storm, you know, the Invisible Woman's brother from Fantastic Four. I had to pick a member. It was toss up between him and the Thing. I like the Thing a lot too, but I think Human Torch is really cool. Like, what a great power! You know, you can control fire and turn your whole body into flame at will. I mean, that would be so cool, and he can fly too. So yeah, that's about it. He's just really cool, and that's all there is to it. And he's kind of hot-headed. Pardon the pun. You know, he doesn't take crap from anybody, and he's kind of rebellious, and always kind of like his attitude.
Number 7. It's Guy Gardner. Personally, he was the first Green Lantern I ever saw, because, like, the first big thing in the comics I got was the death of Superman. And, like, Gardner was on the front lines of fighting Doomsday and got the shit kicked out of him. Like, his eyes were freaking swollen shut, his ring was out of power, but he still kept fighting on. Then later, they gave him an actual Green Lantern ring again. And he proved to be like, you have Hal Jordan. Perfect. Everything. You got Guy Gardner, who's everything else. Which, honestly, to me, made him way more interesting.
Yeah, you're right. That did make him more interesting.
He's a loudmouth. He's cocky. Like, he's not afraid to fight dirty. And, like,
Kyle Rayner was kind of like that, too. Sort of.
Yeah, but he got a little too goofy with his ring power.
And then Jon Stewart, who's way too serious.
I liked how they had Jon Stewart in the Justice League cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a pretty good choice.
Yeah, he was kind of bland, though. Like, I don't know, he was kind of dull.
Yeah.
I kind of would rather be Hal Jordan. But what a coincidence. My number 7 is also a Green Lantern. Hal Jordan.
God.
The original Green Lantern. Well, actually, Alan Scott was the original, the railroad worker. He had like kind of a more reddish uniform, but he wasn't like part of the Lantern Corps or any of that. Maybe later on they retconned it, but yeah, Hal Jordan.
His ring didn't work on lead or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Or was it wood? I don't remember.
I don't know. But
something
yeah, Hal Jordan.
Stupid.
Yeah.
No, it was wood because Solomon Grundy. That's right.
The Green Lantern movie was terrible, but Ryan Reynolds redeemed himself, as we all know, with Deadpool. So, and he had made fun of Green Lantern in that movie. So, there we go. But yeah, Hal Jordan Green Lantern is my number 7. I'd talk more, but this video is already like 10 minutes long, and I'm not trying to make it, too long and arduous.
Number 6. It's Colossus from X-Men.
Good choice.
I've always liked Colossus. Like, he's a strong silent type, but like, there's like an edge to him. Like, whenever there's a bit heavy hitter on the enemy team, like, if he's at the front, he's ready to take him on. Like when he fights Juggernaut, and has his ass handed to him, but he did a pretty good job of it. Yeah, but he's had the biggest arc out of all the X-Men, really. He's died, come back to life, had the Phoenix Force. Yeah. It's ups and downs with him. It's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, Colossus is definitely one of my favorite X-Men as well. What I said, I didn't want to include too many X-Men in my list because they would dominate my top 10. My number 6 is a more obvious choice, Iron Man. Incredible cliche choice, but for good reason. I mean, come on, he's freaking Iron Man. Tony Stark, technological genius who everybody just thinks he's kind of like the Marvel equivalent of Batman in a lot of ways. He's a millionaire playboy who's doesn't really have any superpowers other than his gadgets.
Doesn't embezzle from his own company.
Yeah. And
if
everybody,
anything, like, I think he's more well-adjusted than Bruce Wayne is.
in a lot of ways, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to Bruce Wayne later. But Tony Stark, much like Bruce Wayne, I might add, is everybody kind of perceives him just be like the playboy, spoiled rich boy, but really he's actually a selfless hero. Now Robert Downey Jr.'s take on the character, he's a little too jokey and like sarcastic, and he's like always making wisecracks and one-liners.
If anything, that
He's
takes
witty.
away from like the seriousness of some of the situation he gets into.
I agree, for sure. But they did a pretty good job with him in Civil War. He actually took that very seriously, and we definitely saw the dark side of him. He wasn't just a drunken, rambling idiot. but he has done his fair share of good deeds. He pretty much saved the day in the Avengers.
Number 5 is Jonah Hex.
Another
Now,
good
say what you
choice.
want, I like the character, and I really liked the movie because I like Josh Brolin.
Yeah, he was a good choice, but I thought it was kind of underwhelming. I thought it could have been a lot better.
Yeah. Anyways, like, he's one of the rare comic book characters that doesn't have any superpowers, doesn't really fight anybody with superpowers, outside of Vandal Savage once in a while. But that's something else altogether. Yeah, he was written more like an actual Western character. Then for some reason they tossed him to the future.
It was a lot cooler when it took place in the Old West, I thought.
Yeah. Now recently his comics come back, like he's fighting monsters and stuff too. So that's really cool. And Vandal Savage seems to show up a lot more. Which is okay, because he never had a really big recurring nemesis. Outside of...
I thought he was done really well in the Spider-Man cartoon. Yeah, that flashback episode where Ra's al Ghul is telling the story. And yes, it's pronounced Ra's al Ghul.
Wait a minute,
Bite me.
stop! Spider-Man?
Yeah. The Spider-Man cartoon, that one episode.
That's Batman!
I mean, yeah, Batman. I don't know why I said Spider-Man. The Batman cartoon, sorry. I was reading a Spider-Man comic, and I had Spider-Man, in my mind. I was reading a Spider-Man comic. Can't think right now.
Your turn.
Yeah,
Just go
Batman.
ahead.
You know I knew the difference. I said Ra's al Ghul. I know Ra's al Ghul isn't a Spider-Man villain. Fuck.
He's Ra's al Ghul. I don't care.
Yeah, Raz. Right, whatever. Tomato, tomato. My number 5, Superman. Another obvious choice. I used to really hate Superman when I was growing up. I thought he was way too overpowered. But that can actually be used really well. It can be really interesting when done right, because he has to figure out how to use all these extreme godlike powers. Should he save this new race that he's a Kryptonian orphan, basically? Should he save this race that it's adopted him, or what? He's constantly conflicting with his choices and stuff.
Captain America carries on the American dream. Superman is the American dream.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Henry Cavill is a pretty good choice. He'll never be top Christopher Reeve, but he's kind of wooden a lot. But I think he has potential. I think given the right direction, he
I
can
like
do
how he's
pretty
doing,
well.
like, he's playing it more like an outsider looking in. Like, he's trying to be above them, trying not to look too human. When you look at Clark Kent, like, Kill Bill said it the best, like, Clark Kent is his pastiche of us. He's
It's his critique of the human race. I can't believe I said fucking Spider-Man. God damn, I can't fucking think today.
Okay.
I didn't get enough sleep last night.
Number
Bite me.
4. It's Quicksilver.
Another good choice.
Now, I really like him because of the dynamic he carries over the Marvel Universe. He's the son of Magneto, the brother of Scarlet Witch. Like, but his powers fluctuate up and down, depending on who's writing. Now, the weird part was when they did House of M, which was his doing, because he told his sister to do it when she was going, crazy. At the end of it, he's one of the mutants that's depowered, which I found was weird. But then he gets him back due to shenanigans. But compared to the Flash, like, he's never really had a starring comic series. He's always more like hooked into something else. So like he's never had anything to shine. Just had back parts of something. So like, yeah, he's not as good as that, but like he's still really good. He's like the number 2 speedster in like all of comics. You know what I mean?
And he has nothing in common with any DC characters.
Nope.
None.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
What?
There's no DC character that has his same superpower.
No, I mean, that's not what I'm saying.
I know. The Flash. No, but Quicksilver is awesome, but it's retarded to use him without Scarlet Witch, which is one of my biggest complaints of the newer X-Men movies.
I hate that they can't actually call them Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
I know, it's retarded. But, and he's Magneto's son. And when they were first introduced, him and Scarlet Witch was like they're working off a debt to Magneto. So they weren't really villains per se.
I have a question. Okay, so he's, let's say, 18 in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then in the modern day, he's not any that much older. What's up with that?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, he always has white hair, so I guess...
No, I mean physically. He's still the same.
Oh, yeah.
Even though his sister
question.
grew up.
I don't know. There's so many inconsistencies. Okay, my number 4 is Wolverine, and he's been so whored out recently, like with the X-Men movies. He's just been so overdone. But I liked him way before that. He was my favorite part of the the '90s animated series. I loved his voice. Cathal J. Dodd did a great Wolverine voice. He was like, I know go where I want to go. He was just so badass. And Hugh Jackman's a great choice. He does a great job. It's just I've seen a little too much of the character in the movies. I want to focus on other mutants. He's been like the focal point of almost every X-Men movie so far. And even got his own 2 movies, soon to be 3. But Wolverine's just one of the most badass comic book characters ever. He doesn't take shit from anybody. He's
X2
his own
doesn't count as a
boss.
Wolverine movie?
What's that?
X2 doesn't count as a Wolverine movie?
Might as well have been. But, he just takes crap from nobody. He's just so rebellious. He's got such an awesome attitude. He's supposed to be really short, too. So it's kind of like a Napoleon complex. Hugh Jackman's like, 6'2", 6'3". Yeah. Wolverine's supposed to be like 5'5" or 5'6", I think. And that kind of made him a little more interesting. But, I don't mind. Hugh Jackman still does the role very well. And such a cool superpower, too. The adamantium skeleton, the claws, the rapid healing factor, the regeneration. And he kind of borders on anti-hero a little bit. Even like almost like a villain.
A little bit.
Okay, a lot. Well, what I mean is he almost becomes like, I mean, he kills people. He almost becomes, he probably would be like just a savage, well, not really a villain, but like kind of in the middle, kind of like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Like he's not really good or bad. He just works for whatever, whatever motivates him, his self-gain, whatever fits his agenda best. But Professor X definitely domesticated him a lot, so there's that. But yeah, Wolverine's awesome. I think everybody knows that. And he's my fourth favorite superhero.
Number
3.
No, I remember what number. I forgot which one I'm on.
Oh.
DC. Number 3. The Shining Knight. Now this is another character that's like, that's the thing, like he's from the past but comes to the future, like Etrigan and Morgan Le Fay and a couple others. He was one of the first to do it, and he's one of the only ones that's, it's been the same guy over and over and over and over and over again. Where some of the other ones have changed once in a while. He's got a magic sword, armor, flying horse. They never explained where he got that, but he's got a flying horse. And there's a lot to talk about, but like we don't got a lot of time, so he's pretty good.
So he's kind of like the opposite of Cable.
Yeah.
Most intriguing.
Yeah.
All right, my number 3 is the Hulk. I freaking love the Hulk. I think he's really underused in the Marvel universe. All the other characters got more than one movie. Most of them now have Iron Man and Captain America have 3 movies. Thor has soon to be 3. He definitely steals the show in the Avengers, though. I'm glad he's in that, but he needs a solo movie. I want to see him fight the leader. I want to see Doc Samson mutate and become the super-powered Doc Samson, because Leonard Samson was introduced. I didn't like the guy who played him, Ty Burrell. But Samuel Stearns was also introduced in the Incredible Hulk, showing him become the leader. So I definitely see that. But anyway, aside from the movies, I love reading Incredible Hulk comics, especially after everybody knows that Bruce Banner is the Hulk. Thunderbolt Ross and his daughter, Betty Ross, when they all find out that he's that Bruce Banner's the Hulk. It's so much more interesting.
The only thing with the Hulk is, though, when you get to a point, what are you going to do? It's like, nobody stops him.
Yeah, he's just unstoppable. He gets stronger the madder he gets. And there's been so many face-offs between him and, like, the Thing and other superpower characters. I don't think anybody could beat him. Maybe Silver Surfer, because, he's got the power cosmic. But then again, if it was just one-on-one, just using your strength alone, the Hulk would probably win against pretty much anybody. And he has beaten pretty... And I love when he teams up with Doc Samson and they fight Abomination, the leader. So the early comics. I have the first...
Hulk is one of the rare heroes where he gets other superheroes, villains to fight him regularly. Like, he fights Juggernaut, Rhino, a couple others.
And usually kicks all their asses.
Yeah.
I have the first issue that introduces the leader. What was it? Tales to Astonish. 63, I think. Or 62.
I did like how when it went to, like, Savage Banner, like, the angrier he got, the weaker he got.
Oh, yeah.
Really interesting.
And Planet Hulk was pretty good, too. I wouldn't mind seeing a movie of that, but not yet. I want to see more of him on Earth, before they do that. But yeah, The Incredible Hulk is my number 3 for too many reasons that we don't have time.
Number 2 is Gambit.
Yes.
Now, personally, he's my favorite character from the 90s cartoon. Because, like...
He stole the show.
He stole the show. Like, he can kinetically charge anything he touches, and it'll explode. As long as he's not touching it, it'll stay like that. Like, one scene from Evolution, like, he does it to a gumball machine, and they all come, like, shattering out, and it's awesome. And that's, like... He's also, like... He charged, like... Oh, I don't remember what issue it was, but he charged up a piece of gum and, like, spit it through the executioner's head.
Awesome.
Like... I don't know how that didn't kill him, but, like, that was still pretty badass. Like, he's one of the X-Men that, like, started out as a villain. Like, he's working for Sinister and led the Marauders down into the sewers to kill the Morlocks. When a turn of events that brought them into conflict with the X-Men, X-Force, Thor, Power Pack, and led Angel to being turned into Archangel. When Harpoon and Blockbuster, like, damaged his wings, like, too much, they had to be removed. So yeah, you can say that Gambit's like a catalyst to a whole bunch of other things happening in the Marvel Universe.
We need to see him properly done in a movie. I guess Channing Tatum's going to play him.
Yeah.
I didn't think Taylor Kitsch was a terrible choice, but I love his accent in the cartoon. I was like, Mon cher. He was just awesome. And I think the cartoons what really made him like more well-known, like more of a household name. I don't think a lot of people really knew a lot about Gambit until the cartoon came and really made him like one of the main characters.
Of course not. Gambit, a natural athlete.
Yeah.
I think whoever did his voice, like, that's what really sold the character. It was really good, hilarious.
Great cast.
Like,
Remy LeBeau.
I think the way that he actually talks with like that, like the third person and all that, is
The
just
Cajun.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, my number 2 is Spider-Man. Very obvious choice, and it's not just the character; it's just his whole storyline, the whole mythology, the supporting characters, the villains. I mean, he's got one of the best rogues galleries, along with Batman and the Flash. I mean, come on, that's not even arguable. It's I mean, the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Venom, Sandman. The list just goes on and on. The Lizard, Morbius,
Mysterio, Shocker.
yeah, Electro. It's just endless.
Why would you have Shocker and Electro in the same gallery?
Yeah, I know they're kind of similar. But the thing about Spider-Man is, he's somebody the readers can relate to. Like, he's just an everyday person. He's struggling in like dead-end jobs. He gets menial jobs. He just struggles. He lives in an apartment. He's trying to get he's always trying to get the girl, whether it's Gwen Stacy or Betty Brant or Mary Jane or Felicia Hardy or whoever. He's always trying to get the girl. Like, everybody can relate to him. Like, Batman's a millionaire, who owns his own company and has all these fancy gadgets and stuff. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be bit by a radioactive spider and get superpowers anytime soon, but I have a lot more in common with Peter Parker than I do somebody like Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark.
If you were bit by a radioactive spider, you turn out like Spider-Man did in Ruins. Where he's got this, he's friggin' mutated, like his skin's falling off.
And I'd probably
crazy.
die. But yeah, Spider-Man's awesome. As I said, we can relate to Peter Parker. He's just a normal guy, normal everyday guy. And I really like that. They did a good job with that. Stan Lee's a genius. And Steve Ditko. Spider-Man, obvious choice, but for good reason, as I said.
Now we're down to it. The number one. The best. The greatest. Superman. But for me, he's the all-American hero. The best of the best. Like, he doesn't have any limits to what he can do. He's pulled planets. He's flown so fast, he's jumped through time. He's flew around the planet so fast, he turned back the clock to save Lois Lane from dying. You shouldn't be able to do that.
Superman
but
the movie.
He did it. But it didn't feel contrived in the movie, though. You believed it. Because he could do anything. And despite what some other people think, he is the best of the best of the best. So he's my number one.
Well, he probably really is the best superhero in a lot of ways. Like, objectively, he's probably the best superhero. But
if anything, he's the most well-known across the world.
Oh yeah, and he was probably really the first superhero in a lot of ways, like of that caliber, like of that type. Action Comics issue 1 was like 1937 or sometime in the late 30s. And yeah, Superman.
I think he beat Batman by like a few months, didn't he?
Yeah. Batman came. Yeah, that was also in the late 30s, early 40s. But speaking of Batman, that's my number one. My number one is Batman, and I don't need to explain why. Here's my explanation. He's Batman. There you go. End of story. And we don't have time for honorable mentions.
We'll do more next time.
Yeah, we'll talk about more. Yeah, my number one's Batman.
My number one's Superman. This is why we never get along. Alright.
Batman's not even in your top 10?
No.
Interesting.
Honestly, I don't like how they have to give him all this insane bullcrap. Like, he only needs to sleep like 5 minutes, he's ready to go. He has a counter for almost anything. If you think of something in 3 seconds, he has 6 counters for it.
That's kind of what I like.
20 seconds ago.
I mean, he's always, like, with the Justice League, like, Superman's kind of the leader, but Batman is always having to save their asses. All these super-powered, godlike beings, and Batman's always having to come to their rescue. Like, and he's just an ordinary guy, but he's, like, always, like, one step ahead.
He's an ordinary guy, but he's got all this stuff the ordinary guys shouldn't be able to do.
Yeah, I know. But he's Batman. Alright, guys, I'm Hellhound.
I'm Spellbinder.
And until next time.